Carlos, Prince of Asturias, is the poster child for why you are not supposed to marry your cousin. For a love of all things history, then don't forget to hit the follow. Now, Don Carlos, Prince of Asturias, was a member of the Habsburg dynasty. There are two things that people tend to know about the Habsburgs. Number one, they had a very prominent jaw, and number two, the Habsburg family tree was less of a tree and more of a wreath. Don't get me wrong, in the 16th century, most European royal families were inbred, but the Habsburgs took it to the extreme. Don Carlos was born on the 8th of July 1445. He's the son and heir of the future Philip II of Spain, his wife and double first cousin Maria Manuela of Portugal. Fortunately, Maria would pass away 4 days after the birth of her son. Given the fact that Carlos's gene pool was very limited, he was born with unequal leg length, curvature of the spine, and the infamous Habsburg jaw, all physical abnormalities which are believed to be the result of inbreeding. Carlos was initially raised by his aunts Maria and Joanna until they married in 1548 and 1552 respectively. In 1552, Joanna would depart for Portugal where she would go on to marry her double first cousin John Manuel, leaving young Carlos in an environment where he received very little affection. From a young age, Carlos began to exhibit extremely violent behaviour. According to the historian Geoffrey Parker, Carlos once tried to force a shoemaker to eat the shoes that he found unsatisfactory. In 1559, Carlos was engaged to marry Elizabeth de Valois. However, this marriage would never take place. Instead, Elizabeth married Carlos's father, Philip II of Spain, thus making her his stepmother. It was also suggested that Carlos might marry Mary Queen of Scots, Margaret of Valois, or Anna of Austria, who would go on to become Philip's fourth wife. Staying true to the family tradition of inbreeding, Anna was Philip's niece. Despite serious concerns from his father about his capabilities, Carlos was still recognised as the heir to the Castilian and Aragonese thrones. In 1562, while at the University of Alcalá, Carlos fell down a flight of stairs and severely injured his head. Actually, the injury was believed to have been non-threatening, however Carlos's condition rapidly declined. Philip II went to extreme lengths to ensure his son's health was restored, including having relics placed by his son's bedside. Carlos eventually recovered, but his behaviour from this point on became even more erratic and violent. On one occasion, he attempted to shoot his uncle, John of Austria, and on another, he ordered that a house be set on fire after he was accidentally hit by water thrown from a window of the house. On the 17th of January 1568, Philip had had enough, along with 4 of his councillors, enter Carlos's bedchamber and place him under arrest. We aren't 100% certain about how Carlos died, however there is evidence to suggest that after his arrest he lost the will to live. Carlos would go on a number of hunger strikes, until finally on the 24th of July 1568 he passed away, likely from starvation. However, Philip's desire to keep the news about his son's mental instability quiet, Carlos's actions meant that he did everything in his power to avoid answering why his son had been arrested. This worked in the favour of Philip's enemies, and it was later claimed by William the Silent in his apology in 1581 Carlos had actually been poisoned by his father. And honestly, I wouldn't have blamed Philip if he did. That is a theory that has remained popular to this day. If you enjoyed this video, I will see you next time.